Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. In today's episode, we'll be asking the question, what's the point of a spiritual awakening? Some would ask, what's the point of a spiritual awakening? Why do they happen? And do they happen to everybody? I can guarantee if we asked a group of people, or just even ask some of your friends, just some of your friends, just ask, hey, have you ever seen a ghost before? Or have you ever seen a spirit before? And keep a straight face. Don't be smiling, like you're going to make fun of them if they say yeah. Just ask like a serious question. Have you ever seen some people will open up. They might have never talked about it since the time they've seen it. They'll be like, well, yeah. When I was 8, I was at my grandparents' house. And I was in the kitchen and I saw something walk by the doorway, and it wasn't quick. It stood there. It stood there for a minute, and then it walked off. And then they go, I'm getting chills on the hair is raising up on my arm right now as I think about it. I can't believe it, because it was real. But they've never talked about it. Or maybe they might have mentioned it to somebody and they're like, oh no, that's not true. You were just saying something, or you have sleep. Most people will give you reasons to discredit you. Come up with reasons to discredit you. And then since you realize that you're not being taken seriously, you just don't bring it up anymore. Not unless it happens over and over again. And then that's when you start to search out things. So that person who said that they've seen that spirit over at their grandparents' house, I would say it's a high chance that that person will be having a spiritual awakening at some point of their life. Because them being able to see that spirit is a spiritual gift. That's why there's mediums. Somebody who's a medium, that's a spiritual gift. Highly intuitive person, that's a spiritual, gift. You might not be able to see the spirit, but you can get information from the spiritual world. You can even ask another friend, hey, I was, drifting off to bed the other night and something weird happened. It's like my spirit felt like it was leaving my body, kind of. And you have no idea that your friend that you're talking to, it goes, oh, that's astral projection. And you're like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, I kind of know how to do that. But they've never talked about it because of the stigma, the taboo around it that's created around, spirituality, like seeing things that's not there, knowing things that some people are wondering, how do you know this? And then it's even hard to explain how I know it. It's like, I just know it. Then the funny part about it is deep down inside, those people still believe what you're saying because it's on a it's like on a soul level. You can't prove to them how the information is real, but they still believe it because one is coming from the spiritual world. We're all spiritual beings. We're tapping into something deeper. So my thoughts on why spiritual awakening happens is we're going to use the person who saw the spirit in the doorway as an example. So I can try to, get my point across. That person will have a spiritual awakening because that's a channel. It's a channel. That person's a channel from the spiritual world to the 3D. The spiritual awakening happens to make you tap into your spiritual gift that you've been given before you even got here. Because otherwise, if you don't have a spiritual awakening, you will keep on neglecting your spiritual gift. It has to stop you in your tracks and put you on the spiritual path so you can be introduced or dive deeper into that spiritual gift. Because after I even think about it, when I was younger, there's some things that happened that was kind of crazy, like some spiritual things. And now that I'm older and have had a spiritual awakening, now it all makes sense. I'm like, oh, okay, that was real. The things that happened back then was real. So that's what happens. So now the person you have a spiritual awakening and they're introducing you into that spiritual side. And some people have more than one spiritual gift. It's not just one you can have. I don't know how many you can have at once. I think it's just different for everybody. But that person is able to see spirits and can probably even talk to them. But they can't do that until they delve deeper into their spiritual journey. And the reason why I think we have spiritual awakenings and like the kind of point of them is because, say the person that's passed on, the spirit that has passed on, had some valuable information, had, some information that they never got a chance to, tell anybody that plays a big part in the universe. By that person being able to be a medium who saw the spirit in the hallway, they can the spirit, passed on spirit, can come and talk to this person. Once you have a spiritual awakening and you realize that that's what your gift is, and you're not freaked out by, like spirits coming to ask you questions and talk to you and give you information about different situations that's happening in the 3D. So this person's a channel, and we've heard of that, people channeling stuff. So that's what I think a spiritual awakening is, that the spirit can come and deliver that information that they never got to tell anybody why they were here. And now that information is still alive and well through the living person to be able to deliver that message, pass that message down. But the spiritual awakening is what leads the person to that spiritual gift. And the medium, that's just like one. That's just like one gift. And there's so many other ones. So, we're just a connection from the spiritual world to the physical world. It's like we're a port or something, like a portal. And I'm sure there's a lot, there's more reasons why there's a spiritual awakening. One, just to show us the whole spiritual side of our life. I understand that part. But what I'm mainly just saying kind of in this one is there must be a divine timing that some information needs to be out there in the world from the spiritual side. That's why we need to tap into, to get on our spiritual path. And that's why the spiritual awakening happens, because things need to get a move on, because otherwise they wouldn't, because you don't even know to look into spirituality. It pushes you into it, and you get on that train and you have to go. And then there's a mission you have to complete. And whatever, message that needed to get out, your body is, prepared to receive that message from the spiritual world and deliver it into 3D. But I'm going to end this right here. Until next time.